Hi guys, we're tying Irish shrimps again. Now this one it's a variant of the purple and gold shrimp. This is a Donegal variant of it, and we are using a red thread because the head on this one is red. So what I'm going to do is take a sort of a gold medium oval tinsel, and we'll create a butt of that just so that our golden pheasant rump hackle has something to wrap up against. So we'll wind that through the hook points to the point where we want our tag or butt to end, and then we'll wrap backwards, allowing the curvature of the hooks to slide that tinsel down onto itself. So 3-4 turns usually should be do. Take it through and up over the back and tie it in at the front here. So if you look, you'll see that the tinsel is lying up the shank of the hook, and that means that it doesn't create lumps and bumps. So I'm going to tie in now at the midpoint here a section of pearl crystal hair and double it back on itself. So when we tie in our tail, we'll tie over this to bring it back as well, and that'll reduce thread wraps, make the fly that wee bit neater. So I'm doubling over a golden pheasant rump feather here, and then when I separate out, this is the very tip of the feather, so I'm going to wrap backwards here, turn till I'm about 3-4 mil shy of my tag. I'll tie that in across that last little bit of stalk, fold it back, and then tie up tight to our golden butt. So next we're going to wrap that breast feather. So that also requires you to sort of weave your way through the hook. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping a little bit of tension on it so that it beds in here where I want it. Then I'll take it forward and round the point of the hook as I go. Each time I'm sort of taking the stalk back until it lays up and touching turns to the turn of stalk that went before it. Once I've that wrapped in, I'm going to take my tying thread off back to it. That means that if I unwrap it, it'll end up right back at the very last wrap underneath it. Again, makes things a little bit neater. So cut off this tag end, and I just use the point of the scissors here to tease out those fibers, and then we'll hold all that back, and I'm going to tie back and tie that in place. So the body on this fly is supposed to be gold oval, but for the rear section wrapped in touch and turns. So mine is a sort of a little bit more modern variant of it here, and what I'm going to use is gold holographic braid, flat braid, because I think it's much brighter. I wouldn't say it's any more durable than a full tinsel body like that, but certainly brighter. So I'm just going to put a little bit of clear varnish onto my hook there, and then we shall wrap this back. Now I want that first turn sort of flat, tight up to the hackle. That'll sort of control the hackle back a little bit for you as well, and then we take that forward to the midpoint, or even slightly beyond the midpoint in a shrimp pattern. Cut that off and bind it down. So middle hackle, we're going to go for a purple, as is implied by the name of the fly, the purple shrimp. I'll take one of those. That's actually a saddle hackle. I said I find these saddle hackles to just be a nice consistency of hackle for Irish shrimps. So, doubled, split out the tip, tie it in on the very last millimetre of stock, fold it back, 2-3 turns will secure that in place. So, on with the hackle pliers, and we will wrap this forward. Now you can see, although my fingers might be in the road, they're in the road for a purpose. I'm just using them to fold the hackle fibres back as I wrap them, and what that is doing is taking the stock with it. Stock broke, but it's tied in. It's changing the angle of the stalk as we wrapped it on. So that's a nice bright purple centre hackle to it. So again, original fly has a gold oval touch and turns front section, although the Donegal variant of it, which we're doing here, has a red floss front portion, and I'm going to rib that with gold oval in keeping with the theme. So red floss. On this one I'm actually going to use a Glow Bright. I'm going to use Glow Bright number 3, which is kind of a darkish red floss. Take off, well, 8-10 inches, whatever, and then I'll fold it across my tying thread. You can see I'll take the two ends together in this hand, and you see it's now sliding on my tying thread, so I'll pull down and I'll just slide my tying thread, tension on it up, and that'll bring my looped end of this in there to be tied off nice and neat. And I'll wrap back until I hit my hackle, and then wrap over the original base of thread, tie it in. If you want, fold that back just for that little bit of added security. And then we'll take that gold tinsel and wrap forward in about 2 to 3 turns. Generally a full length fly would have about 5 turns of tinsel on it, so it's a little bit difficult to achieve that in a 2-section shrimp fly. So generally if I was ribbing, I'd maybe have 3 turns on the rear section and 2 on the front if I can manage it, or 3. Again, depends on the size of the fly. Front hackle is a silver badger. Again, sticking with the little saddle. Pull one out, strip off the rubbish, catch it by the tip and the base, and then I stroke it between finger and thumb to double it. Anybody who's interested, I have a video purely on how to double hackles, and I'll try and put a link of that up. So split out the tip, take a few fibres forward, tie it in on the very last remnant of the stalk, fold that back, a few turns just to tie it in, but also to create a little smooth section there to wrap that hackle onto. Take it in our hackle pliers, and as before, just using finger and thumb to tip these back as I wrap them. And here I've sort of that feather stripped to the point where I can tie it in on bare stock and then fold it back to secure it in place. It's a little bit awkward on a treble just to get all these fibres pulled back without stabbing yourself in the fingers. Trim that off, and that is our fly ready to receive its jungle cock eyes. So again, we're going to go down to these small ones at the very front of the cape because we're on size 10 fly. Take off one from each side of the cape because then they'll have a corresponding sort of curvature to them. Strip off the fibres until we leave just this little enamelled bit just protruding. So if I tie in on the very tip of that little enamelled portion, then the jungle cock will stay pretty much in the orientation that I tied in. And what I'm trying to do here, and obviously failing with this one, is to get that just on the side of the eye, this being a return eyed type fly. And then once it's tied in, you can set the angle of it by, as I said, if you want it to sit up more, just catch these tag ends of your jungle cock, and if you pull that down, the feather will kick up more, or you can leave it straight and then the feather will stay straight on the side of the fly. That's up to you. You can double these back on themselves if you want for added security. It really depends on how your tying has gone to this point as to whether there's, you know, the head is small enough to allow you to take into that. I've dropped my scissors. Ooh. So having doubled those back, I just slide the scissors underneath them, lift them up and finish it off. So that is fly tied, we just need to do the head. So as you've seen me probably before, I'm just going to put a little bleb of super glue down an inch or so of our tying thread, and then that should create a bleb of super glue, very fine, just all around you. Don't put on too much or it'll wick back into your hackles. Wrap into that till you're happy with the shape of it, and then I'd finish off in it with a whip finish, or in this case half hitching. Trim that off, and then we'll let that set, and that is our Donegal, I suppose, variant of a variant, gold and purple shrimp. If you like what you see, give us a like and a subscribe. Button should be there for you now, and tell your friends, more the merrier. In the meantime, till next time, thanks for watching, and tight lines.